Okay, now for the main garden. Got a nice stand of hollyhocks. I planted these last year and they didn't grow much at all. The summer heat and drought, they just kind of stayed stumpy, but they made it through the whole winter. And this year have really shot up and got some really nice hollyhock flowers on them. The rest of the garden doing really well. I've pulled most all of the spring crops. Most of the cauliflower is gone. Cucumbers are setting fruit. This is ancient Chinese. The kale is doing really well. We've been picking about 8 leaves a day from the various types for our smoothies. This bed here was all cauliflower and onions, and I've since planted some mid-season bush beans here. They've taken off nicely. Tomatoes doing really well. Most every plant has got some fruit set on it. You can see the big asparagus fern in the back. It's nearly or over 6 foot tall right now. Putting energy in for next year's crop of asparagus. But you can see we've got lots of blooms. A little bit of fruit set on this one. Let's go over to this bed. Tomatoes doing all right. I've had to break out some mancozeb, which is a non-organic fungicide. I've still got a few plants. I don't know the variety on this, but it's a really unusually shaped plant. Have to look at my map and see what it was, but it's suffering from some septoria. Pruned it a lot, but it's just kind of stunted. May have to pull it. See a little bit of septoria in here, a little bit in there. I need to prune these today. Another tomato bed. This is the last of the cauliflower. See, the cabbage loopers have riddled the leaves with holes. This is my favorite squash. This is Zephyr out of Johnny's Seeds. It's a really neat little bicolor. The end of them are green and the rest of the fruit is bright yellow, really tender, excellent flavor, really pretty as well. The rest of the garden doing really well. Garlic just about ready to harvest. We've picked all the scapes. Now you can see some of the leaves are starting to brown. Probably next week or the week after I'll be ready to harvest this. This is the craziest thing I'm growing this year. These are Cossack storage kohlrabi. Put my hand here so you can see just how gigantic these are. This one here is probably 6-7 inches across. That one's probably 7 inches. This one here, this monster, is probably pushing 8 inches in diameter. I'm going to pick these this week. Here's our other batch of kale. No shortage of kale this year. Dwarf Siberian, Black Magic, and Starber. A little bit of kohlrabi left in there. Oh, got a big bumblebee here visiting. Get him in the focus here. There he is. Bean plants spreading pollen for me. Close look at him here. There he goes. Find another flower. This is the birds and the bees, people. Speaking of beans, this is the whole bean bed. Lots and lots of flowers. Should have just tons of beans on this in the next week or two. Beets over here. We've already started picking these. Down in here you can see lots of beets. Several different colors. The greens are just delicious. Everything about these plants is pretty yummy. Another squash bed. Tomatoes in the distance. More tomatoes. This is a bed that had lettuces in it. Chinese cabbage and I've since picked those, put a few tomatoes in at the end, and then planted some sweet potato slips. See them growing nicely there. And now we have our onions and corn. These had lettuces on the edges of these beds, and I picked those. Onions are starting to size up nicely. Corn is about 2.5, 3 foot tall. Some of that over there is getting 3 foot taller. Hopefully have some good sweet corn this year.